Because we always live with intention, right? Whether that's the intention you have for yourself or whether it is with the intention that others have for you. So do you show up in an important situation or in your daily life? Do you show up kind of to your own drum? Or is it living into somebody else's agenda? What they want? That's the power of intention. The power of intention is choosing what's right for you. And not only choosing what's right for you, but doing it in a way that makes you come to life, that gives your life extra meaning, that gives you that sense of purpose, that makes you feel happier in your day-to-day life. Because that's what's so important. When you're on your own path towards, living a good life, whatever that means for you right now. Because when you strive to be a good person, a good friend, a good parent, when you strive to stay on track, for your health, when you strive to stay on track for healing, we know that's hard. And so you cannot rely on just having a willpower and doing it alone. We have to harness the power of intention. And that's why I'm welcoming you here to this podcast. I want to welcome you, my friend, to Power to Be Happy. My name is Joe Bakhmutsky. I'm a proud author of this book, Finding Hope in Times of Uncertainty, a guide to thriving in a challenging world of today. And on this show, we talk about how we are defining ourselves, not by our traumatic experiences, not by the past, but we define ourselves by healing and living today. And that's already an intention. It's not a powerful intention. Because when we have intention for what we do as a practice, as a way of life, when we get these small intentions into every little interaction, into the way that we move about the world and the way that we are around people, that makes all the difference. Because you are now just assigning direct meaning to your life. That's what makes life meaningful. It doesn't make life easy, always. But it's about doing what's right. It's about having that right intention for yourself. It's about having that more energy, greater sense of purpose. And that gives us that sense of belonging because you're doing something that is ultimately meaningful to you. Even if you're doing something that is already, is important. But when you give it that extra focus, when you set that extra little bit of intention, just you give one extra moment before you do this, task, or before you start your day, or before you walk home from work. That intention creates a place of meaning, a place of belonging, and gives you that sense of purpose around everything that you're doing. It just brings it all together, right? It brings everything to life. So that's why I say, it's not always in life we always do what's easy, right? Because if it's easy, we wouldn't do things that we know are good for us. And that's why it's so vital to do things that are going to be right for you in the long term, right for your healing journey, right for the next step that you take towards feeling better, towards, dealing with these, difficult memories from the past, towards dealing with things that are interrupting the flow of your life today, towards dealing with struggles that you might have with thoughts, or with your health, or with how you are around people, in this big world of ours, in your career, in your community. It's finding that ways to connect with people in a way that is right with your values. That's not easy, but we know that doing those things is right. And having that intention and not relying on willpower, because willpower is only this. We all have this much of willpower, don't we? So we don't have enough to do what's right for you today. So I want to share with you today 5 things that help us to really cast that intention forth, my friend, and make you ultimately feel like you give life that extra meaning, that you're living with purpose, that you're doing something that makes you ultimately living a happier life, because that's what life is about, isn't it? We go through challenges, we learn things, we suffer. But then there's also moments of beauty, moments of striving for something beyond what we have today. And that's why intention is so powerful. That's why intention makes all the difference for us. So with that, I want to talk to you about doing what's right. And when it comes to living with intention, it begins with reflecting. That's the R in right. And that is reflect. Reflect on how you go about your day. When you go into an important situation, be it a meeting at work that is really important to you, or whether that's a conversation with your loved one that you're kind of not sure how it's going to go. Or maybe you need to have that, challenging talk with someone, in your community or in the work that you're doing. We oftentimes head into these important moments, and it just happens, and then we're going to feel good, or we feel bad, or like we're just indifferent. But we don't take the time often to reflect on how did it make you feel? What went well? Like, is there something that, if you're in that situation again, or a similar situation, what you can do better? I've really noticed a huge difference on reflecting on these important moments in life. Just the other day I was giving a talk to a group of students who are doing like a leadership program at a large university. And afterwards I sat down and I just, spent 5 minutes just writing my personal reflections on, what I loved about, how did it make me feel, what went well, what I really enjoyed, what I thought I didn't do as well. And it just gave me so much extra energy. And it gave me that ability to get better at what I'm doing, get better at, speaking. I realized, I realized that I could do certain things better. I realized that I did certain things as I intended them to. And so it just gave me such a great place of knowing where I'm at, but also where I need to go. And it gave extra meaning to what I'm doing, to what I've done in the stock on that night, but also what I want to be doing. I realized again, I was like, I love this speaking because I really enjoyed it. I felt like connected with people. I gave them a lot of value. I heard this, all this fantastic feedback. And I was like, this is my thing. And so I want to keep getting better at it, and I want to keep learning and figuring out what works and what doesn't. And it gave me that extra focus, greater meaning to my life. And it's that intention to reflect on our experience. I think it's so important. So next time when you've been through, maybe you're finished up the day, maybe you had something important happen, maybe you went into this interaction or a conversation with someone and it was important to you. Just take out a journal or write it down in your phone and go, just like, reflection. How did it go? How did it make me feel? What went well? What could have gone better? And just notice what comes up for you. Oftentimes you will find your own feelings, your own thoughts, and you will uncover things that you've never even considered about yourself, about the world, and that makes you look differently, and that gives you a different intention for how you are around people and what you do in your life. Gives it a different level of energy and meaning. So that's reflect. So vital to reflect on it, because listen, we are so busy, right? We are so busy in our lives and we don't take the time to reflect on what's going on. But I promise you, when you take the time to look back on the session you had with your therapist, when you had time to reflect on conversation you had with your loved one, when you have reflect on important moment that took place today in your work, you will uncover things that you have not even considered, and it will give you a different perspective on life that you can take on with you. That's the power of reflection. The I in doing things right is impact. Is what sort of impact do you want to make in what you're doing in day-to-day life? Again, so often in life, we, especially as survivors, especially if you've been impacted by trauma, oftentimes we just kind of minimize ourselves, right? Oftentimes we don't want to say the wrong thing, we don't want to do the wrong thing, and sometimes we dealing with our own struggles and worries and challenges and intrusive thoughts, and it's hard. I'm feeling you, my friend. I know how it is, and it's so tough, and so sometimes you just trying to get through the day. You're just trying to get by, and that's the time we don't stop to consider the impact that we want to make. Not about pleasing somebody else, not about, trying to fit into a situation where, where it requires you to change your values or change how you are. But consider what is the impact that you truly want to make in this interaction with this person, in this situation, with your work, with the project that you're working on, with your career, with something that you do in your home. What is the impact? Because every single thing that we do has some kind of impact. Whether you go for a walk, that gives you, clears your mental space. That's the impact it has on yourself. It gives you that extra level of presence or just feeling good about yourself. That interaction that you have with your loved one. Maybe the impact that you want to make is you want to reassure them. You want to make them feel good. Maybe when you're doing something important in your work, what is the impact that you're striving to make? Maybe you're working on a project and you know that it's going to help someone. It's going to make somebody's life easier. Maybe it's going to give you that sense that you're doing something that really works. That's the impact. Whether this is for yourself or whether this is for somebody else. Whether this is for your health, for your well-being, for your healing journey to support that, or whether this is to support someone, to make somebody else feel heard, to give somebody else encouragement, good vibes, make their life easier in some way. right? That's what it's all about. And knowing that impact is so vital, because again, that gives that's an intention in itself, and gives instantly a different level of meaning to what you're doing. So I would just urge you to right now to take a moment for me, because listen, I'm a coach, I'm a life coach, and that's what I do with my clients. I just ask them to consider the impact that they're making in the everyday moment that matters. Because you have those moments. You have moments in your life that, listen, they truly matter to you. They matter to you because it's something that's vital for your life, for your sense of well-being, for your healing, or it's vital for someone that you care about, for someone that you love, for someone that you appreciate, for someone you care for. Maybe for someone you don't even know, but you know that their journey is important. And you want to be there for them and serve them and support them in maybe in some small way, but it's about getting that meaning to you. And we get that extra level of meaning when we consider the impact and set that intention forth on the impact that you want to make. So I urge you to just take a moment and think about what is something that you're going to do today, or something that happens tomorrow that is important to you, whether it's something you do for yourself or something you do for somebody else in one way or another. What is the impact that you want to make, my friend? What is the impact? When you know that is casting forth the intention to do what's right for you, to make you feel right, to make you focused on what you decide is important. Not what is somebody else's agenda, not something that we do out of habit, not something we do because it's supposed to be the thing that we do, but something that you've assigned purposefully meaning. You decided, I want to make this impact for myself, I want this impact for another human being. That is what truly matters, my friend. That is a big one. Next up, in right. And living with intention and not willpower is the G in right is growing into the life that you want. So often in life we get so impatient. We want things yesterday. Or we can feel like things are like just so far away, they're almost impossible, right? Isn't it weird that sometimes we can have both of these things almost happen at the same time? Like some things you want them so bad. And yet sometimes it can also feel like it's so far away. Right? I remember like when I was single and I came out, this was in my mid-20s, and I just came out of this huge relationship that broke down, literally broke down, because this person left me for somebody else. And I was in a terrible place. I was in a deep, dark place. I thought I would never meet anyone again. I thought I'd never have sex again, because I found it so difficult to even have sex with anyone, because even if I was a person that I was really into, but I kind of felt frozen and I had all of these things come up from, going through sexual abuse as a child. And so it's just all those like fears and all those things just kept coming up, and I was just numb and frozen. And so like, I felt like I crave it so much. I crave love. I crave connection. I crave that just being with someone that I really care about. And just I kind of want it right now, but at the same time, I feel like it's never gonna happen. It's something that is kind of beyond me. And I think having that intention, I remember I was driving home one night late after work, and I was in my car, And I was just feeling in that moment so angry because I kept thinking about, what she's done, and how she was lying to me and how it all came out. And I was just feeling like sorry for myself, but also so angry at her. And I was just like, oh, why did you do this? And I was just so like, I was literally driving my car and like screaming out loud. Just go, oh, like just that's how angry I was. And I remember I stopped at this red light at this intersection. I remember the exact point where I was. I remember all of a sudden having this calm just kind of wash over me and feeling like I am never gonna let anything like this happen ever again. Never. I deserve to be loved. I deserve to give love and be loved in return. And that was such a huge change for me. I just had like, oh, this was the moment when I made a decision that something was different. And I remember I took hold of the wheel and I pressed the pedal with my foot. And I went forward. And I didn't get what I wanted, right? It took me years to find the right person. But because I had that intention to be loved, I knew that I had to grow into being that person who can meet someone. Because I was petrified of meeting people. I was petrified of, being intimate with someone because I couldn't have sex before. So I didn't know how to start a conversation. There were so many things that I couldn't do. I didn't know how to do. It was everything before happened by luck or happenstance. And so I knew I had to grow into it. And so I realized that I have to give myself the time to learn how to actually just feel okay about myself. How to feel okay about my body, how to even like make eye contact with a person, with another human being, how to just like have a normal conversation with the person I kind of liked. How can I go out and just meet people and not feel petrified? I know it sounds so weird, but I gave myself that permission to grow into the life that I wanted. And that took off the pressure. And that intention, that made me put aside expectations. I was like, I don't know how long it's going to take. I don't know, but I'm going to figure it out. I don't know. I'm just going to grow into it. I didn't have any capabilities. I didn't have any skills. I didn't have any confidence. I didn't feel good about myself whatsoever. I felt terrible, but I was going, you know what? I can try and get better over this because it's worth it. Because I have that intention to be loved, to give love and be loved in return, I can work through it. I can figure out, I can grow into the life that I want. And you can do this, my friend. You can grow into the life that you want. Give yourself that permission to cast aside expectations. Cast aside your own expectations or needs, even if it's something that you're wanting right now, or even if it's something that maybe feels so far away. That's okay. Both of those things, feeling them sometimes at the same time, it's okay. It's just knowing that you can grow into it. So I want to check in with you right now and go, what is it that you just take a moment to really reflect, as we talked about earlier. Also reflect what is important to you. What is it that you would love to make happen for yourself? Maybe it's something that seems out of reach. Or maybe it's something that like you kind of are not supposed to talk about, like, I don't know, making a friend. It's something that's supposed to just happen magically, right? But sometimes it's important to have an intention and knowing what you want, and knowing like, maybe I want to have a friend. Maybe I want to change my career. Maybe I want to fall in love. I know that this might take time, but I can grow into that. I can learn. I can figure it out. Give yourself the permission to grow into the life that you want, my friend. VH is doing things right and having that intention in your life, living with intentionality and not relying on willpower alone, because that doesn't work. And we know that's not enough. And especially for those of us who've been through things, for those of us who have suffered, who know that we're living with the impact of trauma, it's so vital to live with hope. Hope for the best. That when you go into situations, when you go into important moments, when you go to meet another human being, when you're talking to your loved one, when you're working on something that matters to you, when you are considering seeing a therapist, when you doing exercise, when you spending time with a friend, when you're doing all of that, sometimes we don't know how things are going to turn out. When we have dreams, when we have desires, when we have ambitions, whether you're out on a date or whether you have an important meeting in your work that could really change things, we don't know how things are going to go. And I think there's a lot of strength in acknowledging that we don't know, but we can hope for the best. We can hope that things will turn out. We can hope that something will go our way, right? That hope is hope for the best. That is an intention. And that is an intention we can take into any situation that we have into our life today. What is it that you can hope for can go your way? What is it that you can hope for? That things will turn out for the best. It's not a guarantee, but it is the possibility. And possibility is power. Possibility is not only a bridge between what you want and where you're at right now, but it is also that power that you have to go into situations in a good frame of mind, to go feeling good about yourself. Because again, there's no pressure. You're not saying, I must make things happen. Or this must work my way. It doesn't work. But this is the intention. I hope that things work out. I've done my best to prepare, but I just hope things will go my way. And if they don't, well, I know I'm doing my best. I'm showing up. I'm trying. I'm giving it all. I hope things will turn out. It's such a powerful intention. And yet that makes all the difference in so many situations of our life. So I want to ask you, my friend, what do you have on this week that's big, that's important to you? Now, I'm not saying other people might not even know about this or care or be interested in. It's a big deal for you, right? For you. I want to ask you to take a moment and consider. What will it look like if things turn out better than you can even imagine? What would that be like? What if things really turn out better than you could ever imagine? What if things something surprises you in a positive way? What if like you thought it's gonna go one way, but it's better than what you expected. Way better. Maybe something grows out of it later that you might not even consider today. Maybe something else will open up, or maybe you will realize or look at something in a different way. And whatever it is that you want, maybe you're meant to do this for completely another reason. That's part of possibility. That's part of hope. Hope is like things are open. Anything can happen. That's the power of possibility. That's your power. You hope for the best, and that hope is open-ended. You don't know how things are going to happen. But you are approaching it with a positive intention. Not with pressure or kind of negative expectations, but just with hope that things will turn out well. That's hope, my friend. And last but not least, the T in doing things right, in living with great intention, and not having to rely on willpower to do things that make you happy. That's what I call talk the walk. Because we all know, right? We all know about talk the talk. It's like you're talking about something you want to do and you're not actually doing it. We know about walk the walk, right? When you're doing the thing, right? Like you're making things happen. But I think it's what often gets overlooked is the need to talk about and what you're doing, to share it with people. That's what I call talk the walk. Because whatever it is in your life that you're doing, whether it's something you're doing in your work, whether it's something that you do in your personal life, whether you are trying to lose weight, whether you are, trying to get your mental health better, whether you are trying to be creative, whether you're trying to do something for take the next step in your career, whatever that is, we don't want to just talk about it. We don't want to just do the thing. We also want to be able to share our journey, to talk about what's going on for you, to share it in a meaningful way. Whether this is with your friend, whether this is with your loved one, whether this is with someone in your community, and with people that you meet, with people that you interact with, right? It is so important that you don't have a sense of whatever it is that you're doing, that you're kind of doing it alone. Because even if you are doing something, or let's just say, like right now, I want to lose weight, and that's never an easy thing to do. I'm not sure. Maybe it's easy for you, but like for me, I find it's always difficult, right? It's always difficult to take that next step because it requires me to do things differently in terms of like exercise. It requires me to eat better, and it's hard. But I know a big part that really helps me and supports me is I'm not only just like doing it. I'm not only like talking about the fact that I need to do it or thinking about it. I'm not only just actively doing a new exercise with program in the gym with someone who's helping me along. Not only am I trying to change my habits, but I talk about it. I talk about it with my wife. I talk about it with people at work. I talk about it with my friends. And that helps me to make sense of what's going on. That helps me to stay on track. That helps me to stay motivated to do the thing. That helps me to gain a different perspective and reminds me why I'm doing it. That's what supports that intention. Right? Because listen, isn't it true that whatever you do in life, especially if it's important to your health, to your healing journey, to you feeling happier and more fulfilled, like that's hard. Whether you're trying to get more fit, whether you are trying to feel better, in your mental health, whether you are trying to, achieve something in your career or in your community that's meaningful for you. Like that's hard. So we need people who are going to listen, who are going to encourage, who are going to champion you on your journey. And we also need to just make sense of it ourselves, like replay what are you doing, recommit to it, give greater meaning to everything that you're doing. That is again part of the theme that everything we are doing in this, in saying yes to intention, saying your big no to willpower alone, and just going, I want to have that intentionality to live in the right life. I want to do things that are going to make me happy. That's going to make me feel, that I'm doing something that's vital for myself. It's going to give greater meaning to my life. And that doesn't mean doing things that are easy. It's doing things that are going to be right for you, not for somebody else, for you, my friend. And that means reflecting on taking the time, sometimes even just like a few minutes, to reflect on something important that you've done that day, or how the day went, or how this interaction has gone, and going like, how did it make me feel? What can I learn from this? It's considering, taking a moment to go, what impact do I want to make? Approaching that with the intention of making an impact, whether that impact for yourself on your own life, or whether that's going to support or encourage somebody else. That's so key. The G is to grow into the life that you want. It's knowing that things can take time. Things that are worth it take time. And that's why it's important to give yourself the permission to grow into the life that you want. Because that's what's going to help you and support you and help you move forward. That's why it's so important to hope for the best. When you go into important situations in your life, is have the intention that you hope things are going to turn out well. You hope that things are going to go your way. You hope that something will spark and just give you what you need in that moment to show up and be at your best. You hope that whatever happens, beyond this conversation or beyond this meeting or beyond this moment, it will bring something into life that you might not even consider. Right? It's that hope for that possibility, that the fact that things are open, that good things come into your life, even when you don't know what they look like, because there's no guarantees, but there's hope that things can turn for the better. And talking the walk. It's doing things that matter to you, but also being able to share your journey, share your story, share what is important to you. It's so vital, my friend. That intention that you have for yourself is everything. Because that intention, when we do it, when we reflect on what's happened, when we approach things in our life, hoping that things will go better, when we give ourselves permission to grow into the life that you want, when you truly approach it with the intention of making a positive impact and knowing what that is, it just gives this such a greater meaning to your life. Because listen, intention is actually just how you give meaning to things that you do. And everything that we talked about today is about giving that extra meaning into your life. I'm here to champion you on your journey because I know it's hard sometimes. It's so hard. It's so hard to take that next step or continue on your journey toward healing. It's so hard to do things that you care about, to grow into the life that you want. It's hard sometimes to keep up that hope, but I'm here for you because I want to tell you, my friend, you deserve to be happy. You deserve to not go beyond the struggle, something that we've all know how to do. And we've all developed things to survive, to be strong, to keep going, even when there is sometimes no hope in sight. And yet we generate this hope. We keep going. We show up. We keep trying. We figure things out because that's the only way. I champion you for that. And that's why you know that you've done this before. You figure things out. You have the skills to survive and be bold. Take that next step that you want to take in your life right now. That will serve you, that will have you feel better, that will give you that extra meaning in your life. I champion you and I urge you on. And I'm here to tell you that you, my friend, have the power to be happy, to seek greater clarity in everything that you do, to show up at your best every single day so that you know 100% for yourself you're enough, you're good, you're living with intention, you're showing up and giving your life meaning. And finally, you're just holding on to hope. Holding on to hope that things can and do change for the better. My name is Joe Bakhmutsky. Thank you for being here, my friend. I'll talk to you next time.